Hey everybody, back at it 101. See if we can do some live tape reading on the charts. Just taking a look at what price is doing this afternoon. I'm just looking on the 5-minute. Just looking on the 5-minute chart. What I did was, well, on the 1 minute, I took this morning's price action. And I drew a fib from the high to the low and came up with the optimal trade entry area right here, which is 62 to 79%. Just gives kind of like a rough idea of possible retracement from this leg this morning. And we can see that price came into optimal trade entry, actually came back into this bearish breaker block. Here's the bearish breaker block, which is this yellow bearish breaker here. Came down one more time up and then down again. So that's kind of interesting. Breaker blocks I do keep on my chart for the day because it's not unusual for price. It's not unusual for price to come back and revisit a breaker block. So I'm going to take this off. But anyway, I just wanted to elaborate where this optimal trade entry comes from. So it came into the breaker. to take a look on the 5-minute here. Well, looking on the 5-minute, this is high resistance liquidity. We know it's high resistance liquidity because there are very few fair value gaps on the 5-minute, right? Price just comes up, it retraces, it comes up, it retraces, it comes up, it retraces. So high resistance liquidity is, it's more difficult. Price doesn't go nice and cleanly. It paints and repaints, and it's not the greatest landscape to trade in. I've got a high up here. We've made a lower high. Here's a low, and see if we break this low. This is a 5-minute. If we break this low, it'll be this low, it'll be a 5-minute break of structure to the downside. I wouldn't be surprised if closer to 2 o'clock, if price doesn't want to come up and kind of explore the buy side. You know, we've already explored the sell side down here, the new day opening gap. Now, if price is super weak, we could come back down here and then drop below the sell side down to these lower areas of liquidity. That's a possibility. Oh, there we go. I think I had some trouble with my microphone. So I'm just saying that this is OTE, optimal trade entry. So took a fib from the high to the low this morning, and this is our area. This is our optimal trade entry here of where price could possibly reverse. That's enough. Stop. So this is on the 5-minute. If I go to the 1-minute, we can see that price came back up into the bearish breaker block. That's the yellow block up here. So price came back up, dropped down into this SIBI, came back up but failed to make a higher high. And it's just kind of still in this optimal trade entry area, which is 62 to 79% of this downward leg or movement from this morning. And I'm just hypothesizing that it wouldn't surprise me if closer to 2 o'clock, if the market could find a little bit of energy, that we might want to go up to the buy side, maybe sweep above these highs, maybe reach for its opening range gap from Monday. Yeah, Monday. On the 5-minute, price was making higher lows, but on the 5-minute failed to make a higher high in this area here. So this is as high as price got, and then when it came up again, it made a lower high. So just something worthy of note. It was a nice movement up. This morning's session, we had come to the conclusion that price was bound for the sell side into the new day opening gap. That's exactly where it went. It wicked just below that area and stayed just above London low. So kind of swept in this area here. So this is where we thought price would go. It was just tricky getting here because of the wicks, the back and forth from the CPI data release this morning. Then price reversed through lunch hour and just kind of grinded its way up right back into the bearish breaker block. And we're here, we're going to put in our PD arrays and just see what direction order flow is. So we made a high, low, lower high, lower low. We'll see if price respects this. SIBI here, and this is my 5-minute low. Price would need to break below this for me to be satisfied with a 5-minute break of structure to the downside. And I would need to see this high 5 broken to the upside for a break of structure to the upside. So long as we're between this high and this low, I'm really not interested in anything. But it's only 117. I want to give price enough time to get to the macro at 150 and then see what 2 o'clock brings. So patience. Just tape reading at this point. I was just saying it a little bit earlier that this is high resistance liquidity. On the higher time frame, it's high resistance liquidity. Actually, on the 1 minute, it doesn't look terrible, but that's when there are very few fair value gaps. You know, see how candles are just overlapping each other. That's high resistance. This area here, this gray box, this is OTE, Optimal Trade Entry. So anyone who studied the 2022 mentorship from ICT, this is Optimal Trade Entry. So this is taking our fib from the high of this morning to the low. And then looking for a retracement in the area of 62 to 79%. So what I do is I like to put a box on my chart and then I just get rid of the fib. So we've been in and out of this optimal trade entry area. So if there's a reversal, this is the area that price would want to come back into, which it has, and the breaker block. We have previous day high right above this SIBI. So interested to look at the reaction of that. And we've broken above it once, twice, 3 times. And here it looks like we've failed to break above it again. Going to move back onto the 5 minute. Zero out, get a little better idea of what price action is doing on the slightly higher time frame. This is a 1 minute CB. My dog out for a good walk between sessions, cleared my head. Price may be going for the buy side here. Maybe, maybe sweep these highs. Could reverse from there, or price could just continue going up and maybe start to fill some of this opening range gap and looking to new day opening gap above. Now we've got PPI tomorrow. We have news Thursday, red folder news Thursday and Friday. So we have another 2 days of red folder news, which could bring price back up here. Now this is, I'm going to take this out so we have less to look at here. This is the hourly, an hourly SIBI that is still current. So I'd like to see price get above the 5-minute break of structure and then maybe above this hourly SIBI, this pink hourly SIBI here. This pink hourly SIBI. Using our discussion earlier this morning about midnight at midnight. So when price came down into the sell side this morning, we ended up below midnight, which is what we had anticipated because we were above midnight. We want to sell, and then when price reversed and started to go up, that is a kind of a handshake with the position of where price was, which was below midnight. So we want to buy below midnight, sell above midnight. So this was the time to pick up the buy, take price up, and sell above midnight. So from discount to premium. Buy and discount, sell in premium. So right now price is just sitting in this OTE box, not really doing anything, no fair value gaps on the 5-minute. Like I say, I would want to see price break above this 5-minute high or below this 5-minute low to give us a break of structure on the 5-minute. It's only 127. We'll see what happens as we come into the 150 macro and to the 2 o'clock kill zone. Hey, XMT89. Okay, failed to make a lower low at 105, so there's a divergence. Thank you. Inverted fair value gap on the 1 minute. So we've broken above previous day high. This is a major level. We came above it, we broke below it, then price again broke above it. So it came back to retest and then pushed higher. You know, that would be like a ScarFace break and retest situation, right? If that's what you're looking for. It's just that price has moved all the way up. We're above midnight. I don't want to buy, I personally, like for my the type of trade that I'm looking for, I don't want to buy above midnight. I want to be selling above midnight. So I would want to be looking for price to maybe, you know, like sweep these highs, take London high, get into this buy side, and then maybe look for a reversal to the downside. That's a possibility. But if you're a scalper, you know, any of these inverted fair value gap moves, break and retest on that previous day high, these are all, you know, opportunities for a scalp, right? So it just depends what you're looking for. We could have 100 people look at the same chart, and we could, you know, have 75 of us see different things. Just depending what your strategy is, what you're looking for. So we're breaking above the 5-minute, no, just rejecting. We're playing with the 5-minute break of structure time frame. Here is our high on the 1 minute. I'm going to change this. And this is our next high on the 1 minute. high. We've made a higher high. Here's our low. Here's our low on the 1 minute. Tapped into the breaker block again. Could even look at this as a breaker on the 1 minute. So we have a high, a low, higher high. And let's see if we break to the downside. That will give us a breaker. High, low, higher high. See if we break this low. See if we invert this fair value gap. Price respecting for the time being. This busy. Okay, Kathy Kennedy, checked out ScarFace, looks interesting. Yeah, I'd be interested in your, if you've had a chance to check out some of his videos. He has just a really nice way of teaching through his videos, straightforward to the point. Yeah, Awake FX, he's excellent too. Shane is awesome. He's one of my mentors as well. Let me know what you think about ScarFace. Like, they all use ICT the building blocks of ICT. They just, ScarFace is, his bread and butter is basically break and retest, and it's a scalp, you know, so if that's kind of what you're interested in. Although I do find that on the 5-minute break of structure, if, you know, if price is really going to move below or above, the trades can turn into much more than just a scalp. Like, I know it's a scalping strategy, but it can be a lot more than a scalping strategy, depending how you use it with other confluences of ICT. Anyway, let me know what you think once you have time to like kind of dig into it a bit. High, low, higher, high. See if we move below this. That'll give us a bearish breaker again. If we move below here, then our bearish breaker would be here. Small fair value gap. I want to see price break below this low. And for a bearish breaker, like what I really want to see is, I don't want to just see a wick make this lower low. I want to see like a full body closure, and it hasn't done that yet. So even though I've put this bearish breaker block on here in anticipation, it hasn't satisfied what I would be wanting to see. Like I want to see this candle close below this low. And I'll just throw my little things on here to show you. There we go, starting to close below there now. High, low. High, low, higher, high, lower, low. See, I want to see more displacement. It's really not giving me much displacement. It's 1:40. We have 10 minutes until the macro starts. We had a high here, we failed to make a higher high. We only just wicked above this. So it's, you know, price is weak, but in my view, we're still bullish unless we break below this 5-minute break of structure. We're still hanging on to this level here. So let's not lose sight of the fact that we have a previous day high here. So this level here is previous day high. I'll just make that a bit bigger. So we're bouncing above it and below it. You know, it's like price is trying to figure out, can it hold that level or not? And then if I look below and I'm looking for fair value gaps on the 1 minute, I don't really have any. Not in this area here. This is why this is high resistance liquidity. And then we come over here. You know, it's high resistance liquidity. It's not great. What am I doing here, Bissy? Let me take a look. Thanks, Kathy. Let's just take a look at that. Yep, thank you. Good eyes there. There we go. Gives us a little bit of a sibby here. Gives us 2 fair value gaps. The thing about this bearish breaker that like I'm just not crazy about is the fact that the liquidity is high resistance liquidity. So even though, you know, and it's a 1 minute bearish breaker, okay, so it's better to see like a 5 minute bearish breaker. Okay, so now we just have a we have NQ making a lower low, and ES is the lagging indicator. Okay. We've broken below the 5 minute breakup structure. It's still very wicky. Like I'd really like to see some displacement here, come back into the breaker and then drop. But again, this is all ugly down here. So it's nice that prices come back into the OTE. So let's see if price returns to the bearish breaker. Give this candle a chance to close here and see where we are. Nope. If price were to make a run down, and again, I don't like this. I don't like this liquidity here. This is an area where price seems to be getting stuck just above this SIBI here. It's 146. We've already been down here, so unless price remains really weak, I still would like to see price run for the buy side here because we haven't been up here all afternoon. So I'd like to see price run for the buy side, maybe the London high, and then possibly look for a reversal to the downside. That's ultimately what I would like to see. Just a lot of back and forth here. It's 148. Price repainting, creating balanced price range. See if it creates a fair value gap, CB. You know, if we were looking at ScarFace's break and retest strategy at a main level, so previous day high would be a main level, so price came above previous day high, dropped back just below it, retested with this candle. This would have been an entry here, and then ride price down. Just another way to use his strategy, you know, for a scalp. Price coming back into this SIBI. Nice thing about breaker blocks is they give us the opportunity, a second opportunity to take the trade. So I don't worry about you know, oh, price has left, yeah, I should jump into this. No, I don't worry about that at all. I'm like, okay, so the bearish breaker worked. Let's wait and see if price comes back up and provides us with another opportunity. So I never have FOMO that I'm missing a trade or I'm missing something. Like, look how many times price came back into this bearish breaker this morning. So hey Tony, I've studied ScarFace's material. I've taken a lot of notes on paper. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Oh, you found it before ICT. Okay, awesome. Do you trade his 5-minute candle strategy in the morning, Tony? Or how do you use ScarFace's strategy? It's break and retest, right? Okay, so let's see what happens with price here. This has been an area where price has held prior. Looks like we're coming through it. So again, I'm just always mindful of where midnight is. So, you know, ideally you want to sell and then buy back below midnight. So this is, you know, this is a nice congruency here. It's 155. Tony, I watched for the break and retest, but I've been really studying ICT's 2024 and 25 model since September of last year. First fair value gap return and rejected, by the way. Yep. Okay, good for you, Tony. I really liked ICT's. I've studied like pretty much all of his stuff. I really liked his 2022 mentorship, and I also did his 2017, that 1 year mentorship. That was intense. So this is a 1 minute BISI here. We'll see if price respects this PD array. We're right at Asia high, 157. Or if we turn that into an inverted fair value gap. If this turns into an inverted fair value gap, this could be the next level here. So that was a nice little ride down from the bearish breaker. This PD array looks to be holding for the time being. I think YouTube has been pretty much the rock for all of us, Tony, myself included, 100%. I did the first program, the way that I learned how to trade was through Trade and Travel. Terry Iomi is an excellent trader and teacher, and I think hers is the #1 trading course in the world. Let's just see if this turns into an inverted fair value gap. Her program was $5,000 US, and I learned how to trade stocks and then options, and I traded options for 12 to 14 months, and then I came across ICT, and that's when I started to study ICT and really understand order flow. And so that's kind of where I am at. I've just started my 3rd year of trading. I think it was March 7th was the beginning of my 3rd year of trading. I don't know that I want to jump into this, but if this turns into an inverted fair value gap here, I might. Yeah, I might. Ah, look at that. Stop loss maybe here. Nope. That's the turnaround point. That's what happens when you jump into these trades where it's already come down quite a bit. That's okay. So maybe this PD array is going to hold. It's busy. Let's see. It's 2 o'clock. Let's see if price wants to return to the bearish breaker. Oh, congratulations, Tony. That's awesome. So you've had a few payouts using prop firms. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Be kind to yourself, everyone. Just finding that balance, like when you have a great trade, just try to remain unemotional about it, and you take a loss. It's just part of the process, right? See if this is just a pullback or if we go right back into the bearish breaker. Could be just a pullback here. Price could be looking to maybe come down to this BC and maybe revisit the sell side. This area seems to be providing a reaction the second time round as well. Could be reacting off Asia's high. My God, guys, between my dishwasher running and my dog snoring beside me, it must sound like I live in a crazy place. Interesting reaction, eh, here? The Asia high. So we came down once, immediately moved back up. We've come back down to test and immediately bounced back up. Seems to be week above and week below. I have no interest in buying above midnight. Like, I would have an interest if it came back into the bearish breaker and then decided to go, you know, showed weakness from there, but I don't have an interest in buying above midnight. Might be just the pullback, but it's got to get past here. Matthew, I have a dog, and he's shaking his head and doing funny things. Be interesting to see if price could come back into the bearish breaker and then sell off. But it looks pretty weak, doesn't it? I mean, it's 215. If we take our GAN box and we go from high to low just on this leg here, this would be our 50% here. Now for price to pull back into a discount before dropping. But Matthew, which second low candle validates the breaker? Not sure I understand what you mean. So here's our breaker. So we have high, low, higher high. Where's our lower low? You could take the lower low down here. And then it's this set of down close candle is this black one prior to the run of the green candles up for the run down. So it's this black candle here is the bearish breaker. Make that a bit bigger. And then we have two fair value gaps within the breaker on opposing legs. Bearing in mind it's a 1 minute breaker, right? No fair value gaps on the way up. It's pretty ugly price action actually. We've got this previous day high running right through the center of the bearish breaker. Kind of a sensitive area here. Kind of hard to see, I know, unless I make my screen super, super big. We've got red folder news tomorrow morning again, Thursday and Friday. XMT, NQ is just hanging around equilibrium of today's range. It seems like the daily objective has been met, possibly stall, stay safe. Yep, I agree with you, XMT. I think it's just chafe at this point. It's just low quality everything, right? That's why I'm not really interested in getting involved in this. If we get to the bearish breaker and then show extreme weakness, maybe I'll take a trade back down to here, but I totally agree with you. So thanks for joining us today, XMT. Those deep old man sighs that you guys can hear, it's my dog. Oh, this price action is painful, isn't it? I do prefer trading the morning session. If I get a nice trade in the morning session, I normally don't come to the afternoon session. Or I have it kind of on in the background, and every once in a while I'll take a look, but I prefer to have a good morning trade. Yeah, you're right, Wasim. It was just kind of, given it was CPI, we didn't really have like a huge move this morning. It was, it wasn't even really volatile compared to some other days. Well, in summary, this bearish breaker would have been a good move if you thought about catching it up here and then riding it down to here in one movement. I would have liked to have seen a return to the bearish breaker and then another opportunity to go low. But it looks like we're having trouble even getting up there. It's almost 2:30. Sibi looks like it might be holding, but you know what? The question is it worth having a $500 stop for this kind of price action? It's not for me. I'd rather have a nice trade tomorrow or Friday. But this is one of those trades where back in the day I would have been bored, you know, and taken this kind of, you know, cheap trade. That's what it is. It's just this is cheap trades. Like it's not even a C setup. It's just the market take your money kind of trade. Yeah, totally agree, Wasim. Like just very quick scalps kind of thing. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And my passion, I guess, in trading are the longer. That's why I like the breaker blocks. I like to try and grab a good portion of the day's candle, and so reversals, you know, help me to achieve that. But I'll take scalps when I'm bored or I'm looking for, you know, a quick. I like to take a scalp off an inverted fair value gap or order block, that kind of thing. But this kind of price action, these days of cheap price action for me are behind me. I say that with tongue in cheek, but you know what I mean? In your earlier days of trading, like this kind of stuff, you'd be like, or I would be, I won't talk for anybody else, but I've had many, many days where I've jumped into cheap trades and regretted it, and I just don't do it anymore. I just love the pure price action. You can see the PD arrays are being respected. You can see where liquidity is, and you have a good opportunity to take a nice trade. Like yesterday was just a beautiful day for trading. But this kind of stuff, this is just entertaining when you're bored, and that's a terrible way to trade. I have learned my lesson from that. I'm curious to see if it'll get up into the bearish breaker and if it'll sell off from there. Yeah, exactly, Wasim. It's just the market will take your money this afternoon. It's just not worth it. arguing about? You gonna come out here? You gonna come out? Come on. Come on. You gonna come out? You gonna come out? Okay. Okay, come on. Come on. Up, up, up. There we go. Okay. There, now we're getting some energy. Maybe we'll get into that breaker block. My dog is up here for a treat. Oops, there he is. Okay, mister. One at a time. Even he's bored watching me watch these candles print. This is Pi, everyone. His name is Pi. This is the snorer in the background, the heavy sigher. Okay, you. All right. That's your big debut. That's your YouTube debut. Go. Oh my gosh, if this price makes it up to the bearish breaker block, I'll probably be amazed. Make sure he doesn't press the sell button. Yeah, exactly. Okay. There you go. Yeah, he's watching the candles print too. Oh my God. It's like this is the worst type of trading action. You know, it's like watching a bad movie, but you can't turn it off because you're waiting to see if it actually makes it to the breaker block. Does anyone here trade the kind of like 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock time frame? Does anybody take trades kind of after 3 o'clock? Get that last hour of price action? I personally don't, but just wondering if anybody else does. I think ICT did a video on how to trade that last hour. Okay, but that's enough. People don't want to hear you breathing. Hey, people don't want to hear you breathe, eh? Sometimes I used to trade options in that last hour with 0 DTE. Price can really, really move. It's good when it's in your favor and not so good when it goes against you. Hey, Squinto. Hello. How was your CPI day? Anything interesting transpire for you? Until we're just watching this price action to see if it comes back up into this bearish breaker for possibly a sell-off, but I think it's more interesting watching paint dry. This has just been painful. Okay, well, sorry to hear that. I mean, it's CPI day today. What can we expect today? Oh, okay, sorry to hear that. How's your strategy on like protecting your capital, basically? Unless you're trading in sim, but still. Like, is that an area you need to tighten up on? Because there's no fun making profits and then losing it, you know, because you're risking too much or your number of contracts that you're trading with is too high. Do you know what I mean? Oh, you rage a lot. Oh, okay. Well, I understand. I get it. But anyway, maybe journal. Find a way to journal and figure out how to like pull that part of you in and prevent yourself from doing it. Like maybe, anyway, I'm just saying, like, we're all working on something, so, you know, but it's good if you can identify what the challenge is and then find ways to address it, right? For me, like, I used to take like dumb trades because I'd be curious. I'd be like, oh, let me try this. And then, you know, those stupid dumb losses really add up. Tony, the 3 to 4 hour has, yeah. I think ICT has a video on the macro that starts, and I think he said it's 3:30. Does that sound familiar to you? I didn't pay too much attention to that video of his because I don't generally trade from 3 to 4, but I think he said the macro starts at 3:30. You're working hard on it? Yeah, like Squinto, listen, we're all working on something. You went from plus 700 to minus 700 yesterday. Ouch. Oh man, that hurts. I find if you do that enough times, you'll find a way to stop. Because if you had 700 yesterday in the bank, in the pocketbook, that's a day like to just shut it down and go to the gym or go for a walk or go do something else. Like, just shut it down. If you trade prop firms with 50,000, practice this. Stop loss no more than 200, meaning just one micro. Yeah, aim for 3 to 1 risk to reward. Be patient. Take breaks when you lose. Yeah, that's really good advice, Tony. Like, it's really, really good advice. Well, Squinto, do you journal? That can really help, you know, like understanding. Is it because you don't like to be wrong? Is it because you're just over trading because you don't have rules in place? Do you have trading rules? I can tell you exactly what my trading rules are. And then if you have trading rules, are you abiding by them? Or, you know, what is preventing you from following those rules? Okay, we finally hit the bearish breaker. It's 242. Holy cow, you took 10 trades for no reason. Yeah, so take some time and journal and try and understand like where that comes from. I used to, not that long ago, trust me, I used to, you know, I'd lose a trade and then I'd take 2 more trades or 3 trades or 4 trades, and that's just, and for me, I had to figure out that I didn't want to be wrong. Like, I was sure the market would go in X direction, and I just knew that it had to. So I would re-enter the trade again and try it again and try it again until I finally realized, like, why do I have an issue being wrong with direction? And that's how I just kind of tackled that. But sometimes you need to look yourself in the mirror, right? And you need to ask yourself, why the heck am I behaving this way? Because on the other side of that behavior is potentially a profitable trader. And we're all trying to get to that side. So these are the things that we have to tackle about ourselves. And it's not easy, right? It's not easy when you have to face your own, like, why do I behave this way? Yeah, I get it, Squintle. Like, trust me, we've all been there. Like, we've all been there. Some of us are still there. Yeah, be nice. Forgive yourself. Yeah, let yourself feel it. Take a break. Move on. Exactly. You know what? Sometimes you just have those days. That's when I just take my dog out and I'm just like, okay, like, I need to just take it down a notch. Tomorrow's another day. As long as we live to trade another day, we're okay. I'm just watching this now. I'm just seeing what the reaction is here in this bearish breaker. Very few fair value gaps on the way up. This is high resistance liquidity. It's ugly. The market is testing us to see if anyone is still awake. One of the things I like to look at, especially, I like to look at the power of 3 indicator, because this is kind of tells us what the price action of the day has been, right? So every day we print a candle. We have our open, high, low, and close, right? So this is what our daily candle looks like right now. So we opened, we came down, we moved up, we had a high, and now we've moved down. And this is what price action looks like for mostly every day. So because we've already hit that high and moved down a bit, I don't anticipate price moving up again. It just wouldn't make sense. Now this indicator that I use is, it's just power of 3. Doesn't even say the name of the guy who came up with it. But I like to stick this on my chart and take a look because it gives me perspective on the landscape of where price is. And so again, you know, we have printed this today. And ideally, I want to enter a trade at the top of the wick or at the bottom of the wick, and that way you can get the day's worth of candles printing, right? Like this is the piece of action that I want for the day, this middle part. And the way to get that is to enter at the top of the wick or the bottom of the wick. So sometimes when we have a day like this, it's nice to kind of like throw up this power of 3 candle and say, okay, like where are we for the day? And price always pulls back at the end of the day, right? Like we usually end up with a wick. So I don't anticipate price like moving up much higher today. I think we've probably reached that high. So it's just something to help like give yourselves perspective. So I throw up my power of 3 candle just to give me some perspective on the terrain. So we've gone above this breaker. I'm just going to take that down, take that off. That was our original breaker today from this morning. Yeah, I was saying risk management rules have really helped me like become profitable. Like I really, once I got that under control and became really strict, then that made a big difference for me. Possible inversion on the 5 minute to valid for a bearish move. My thought, what do you think? Tony, I'm just looking at your must close possible inversion on 5 minute to valid for a bearish move. Well, we're on the 1 minute we're on the 1 minute candles. I mean, I would want to see, here's our low right here. Yeah, that's our low. This is our high. 2 candlesticks, high and then a low. So this is our high. Do you guys feel like it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the club and we're the only ones left? Like all the traders left hours ago and it's only us left watching this like pathetic price action. Liquidity down here, Wasim, is that what you're thinking? Like to the downside here? Well, I just think it's high resistance liquidity. I think it's ugly liquidity. I like when price like literally drops fast. This is a possible entry here. I don't know. I don't want to take anything out of boredom, but if we pass this low, if we move south of this low, it might be. This would have been the entry, the green candle here. Okay, that's a 1 minute break of structure. 16 seconds left on this candle. Maybe, maybe a scalp. I'm not really interested at 3 o'clock in the afternoon of CPI, but yeah, I can see if you're a scalper. Yeah, it's not even dropping nicely. Ugh. It's just garbage. Okay, guys, well, I think that's enough. I think I've had enough tape reading to last me a while. I'm not interested in this price action. I'm hoping tomorrow will provide, like some better opportunity. So I hope you guys all have a great evening. Do some journaling and focus on, what you did right today. And we can regroup tomorrow, see if we can find something that might give us a little more traction. Today was, it wasn't the greatest day to trade. It was okay. I took a few trades this morning, but it was nothing exciting. So, but I appreciate you spending some time together and for the few laughs that we had. And you guys have yourselves a great evening, and look forward to maybe seeing you guys tomorrow. So check out the morning session. I did put ScarFace's, a couple of his videos. I linked them. So if you're interested in his 5-minute break and retest strategy, check it out. You can judge for yourself whether it's something that might work for you or not. So, alrighty then, guys. Take care. Have a great night. Bye for now.